Hey everybody, how's it going? All right, we're gonna let people just kind of float in here for the next few minutes. I did get into the back end of this thing this morning and tried to turn off the little dings when everybody joins. So I think I think that's working right now. All right, let me take a look at everybody. Who's in the class? Nice, excellent, good. All right, cool, awesome. All right, I'm recording this, so if anybody has to bail, anytime we do these things, I'm going to be recording it and then I'll post it on the YouTube channel that I have. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. If you have your mics on, please mute them. If you ever want to type a message on the chat while we're doing it, I'm fine with that. Let me type something right now. Yeah, I know. Jason is cool. That's the first thing that came off the top of my mind, probably because I'm a Leo and just had a birthday and an only child besides. So what's the first thing that comes to my head? I'm cool. Anyway, happy to see everybody here. 3:30. People are going to wander in for just another minute or so. But if you have any questions, comments, anything that's, within reason and respectability, type it over there. And then, I'll talk and kind of intro the class. And then you can, you can listen, you can type questions, you can save the questions for the end, and then you can chime in however you want to do it. Kind of pull back the curtain here. Looks like I hope some rain is rolling through out here in LaPorte. I'm just outside of city limits in LaPorte, so on a 4-acre farm. So that's where I'm going to be doing this from this afternoon, or I guess all semester long. All right, let's see. All right, should we start? I don't know. Somebody say yes. There we go. I see a head nod. I see a thumbs up. I'm doing it. Somebody's got their camera pointed at the ceiling. That's excellent. I welcome any pets that you may have. They're welcome to join the Zoom. I've got 3 dogs out here on the farm and 2 kids. So you never know. They might join the meeting sometime. I have no idea. Literally no idea. Oh, somebody's roommate is joining the Zoom. What's up, brah? Yo. Anyway, all right. So my name is Jason. Welcome to Sociology 100, Introduction to Sociology. You should see your faces right now. Come on, relax. I'm just messing with you. Oh, I did that to my 8 o'clock class this morning. It wasn't nearly as funny. Not that was funny just now. Anyway, just messing with you. This is Soc 220, Environmental Sociology. And I love teaching this class, so I'm really excited about it. Here, let me get more light. I really prefer not too much light because of my ginger skin. I can pretty much burn. I could burn inside, on any given day in the summer. All right, so Soc 220, my name is Jason. I've been a teacher here for about 12 years, and I applied last year. It's the first time that if you're a non-tenure track faculty member, you could apply for a promotion. So I applied for senior instructor. So now I'm a senior instructor. And that the next step, I think, is master instructor, which is way cooler, like Master Jedi. Senior instructor just sounds like I'm old, so I'm just going to work with that one for now. Anyway, I've been in this department for a long time. I love the Soc department, and the reality is I do think it's an amazing department. I think we offer some awesome classes, and I think the teachers in this department are fantastic as well. So let's get started. The textbook is required. And here's the deal about the textbook, why I like it, Society and the Environment. The person who wrote the textbook is the dean of the Social and Behavioral Sciences Department, Michael Carolyn. So his office is on the 2nd floor of Clark. If you like something, if you don't like something, if you have a question, look, if you want to talk to the author of this book, they're upstairs in Clark. And I think that is really cool to have as a resource. Michael used to be the dean, or excuse me, the head of the Soc department, the chair for the Soc department, and he's, moving right up, but a very down-to-earth guy. And if you are in the social behavioral sciences and he's your dean, get to know that guy, because it is important to know great people on campus no matter what year you are. All right. I know that I have a lot of students that are not majoring in sociology. I'm going to change your mind after the semester. I have a lot of students from this class that are not just first year students like my 100s, but also juniors and seniors, because this is a 220 level class. So really, really, really excited about it. That's the book. Get the book. It's required. When we're doing solution assignments, you're likely going to need to reference the book. When we're doing other things, you're going to need in-text citations. So grab it. They ran out of copies, and then Kurt at the bookstore told me that they were getting ones in that were like new ones in today or tomorrow. So if they ran out, you know, they'll have them any day. And really, look, everybody that I can see, I'm going to filter through these pages once. Wow, 5 pages of people, 150 people. Raise your hand if some teacher has told you that this is going to be unlike any semester that we've ever done before. And it's so strange, right? I mean, you know, I'm just going to say that's a given, right? So we already know that this is a bit weird of a semester. I'm personally the kind of person that has so much energy that I love to be in the classroom. Like, I love it. I love it. I'm all over the classroom. I'm in your space. I'm in my space. You're in my space. So we're going to make this as fun as we possibly can this semester. And I think that we'll be able to really have a lot of fun with this, even though we're just online and stuff. We all know, and I'm just going to cut this off ahead of time because I've been asked in 2 out of my 3 classes, Jason, what do you think is going to happen when inevitably they're going to shut this all down live? Okay. I'm going to tell you what, first of all, I think that is going to happen, right? If we've looked at other colleges, if we've looked at behavior of folks, if we look at what's going on, this is going to be dicey. But that doesn't matter to us because we're already here virtually. So wherever you are hanging for this semester, wherever I'm hanging for this semester, no matter what goes on in the world out there, within reason, we're going to be just fine, and we're just going to go about business as usual. So to that matter, anybody who's wearing a mask when they're around and out and about is a hero to me and a hero to other people. And I don't really think any of my students don't believe in masks, because you're paying tens of thousands of dollars to get an education from a college that focuses most of its information around science. So I don't think you have any problems with that. But just a nod to all of my students who are not, you know, complaining about it and going about it with a lot of class and respect for other human beings. I want that to be our approach this semester, compassion for each other. Look, in the past, we would have asked you to draft. We would have drafted you to fight in a war and possibly die, or rationed your food. Nowadays, we're asking you to wear a diaper on your face for just a few minutes when you're out. I think we can do that, right? So if everything goes down the tubes, and I'm not a betting person, but I bet that that's going to happen. So if it does happen, no stress. And that's also the way I want this to be. I'm a very down-to-earth person. That doesn't mean that I'm just your friend. I've been an instructor for 13 years. I teach at 3 different, I'm teaching at CU this semester, CSU and Front Range. So I teach a lot of classes and a lot of different people, but we got this. So most importantly, I'm very approachable, and I want you to know this, that I told you, if you watch the intro video on my YouTube channel, I am not recording this in a tiny office with all of my diplomas on the wall behind me, so that you know that I could frame things and that I'm smart, right? Like, yeah, I can frame stuff, and yeah, I'm smart, but really the most important part is don't let that be a barrier to your education, okay? Reach out to me and stay in touch, especially now that you're like distance and I'm not all the time in a classroom, you know, multiple times a week with you. You know, don't float out there in space. If something happens, and life will happen this semester, just get in touch with me, all right? Does that sound good? I mean, somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend is going to break up with them, and it's going to be the end of the world. And 3 weeks later, you're going to be like, whoo, that was a close one. Glad I'm not dating that person anymore. Somebody in here is going to be shredding some gnarly pow-pow, bruh, and you're going to break your leg, right? You like that? And then you might miss some class. So whatever the reason, right? You're living with your parents and you haven't for a while and you're freaking out because it sucks. I get it. I live with my kids. Hey, anyway. All right. So reach out to me, stay in contact. That's most important. The textbook is required. Now let's get to this class. Okay. There are 4 exams. Okay. And each exam is worth 100 points, okay? And they're gonna be true, false, they're gonna be multiple choice, and they're 2 points apiece, so it's like 50 questions in and out. You're gonna have a chance to write a lot of essays and solution essays, and there's a huge paper that we do on food waste. Not huge, but look, you're gonna be writing, and the deal is, if you can graduate from college and you can really write really well and express yourself in a written way, then you are going to be able to manifest the things you want in this world better than other folks. It's really critical. So we will get to the writing piece, but the exams are going to be pretty straightforward. You're going to have like an hour to do them. You log on. You do not need a proctor. If you only have 50 minutes or an hour to do these exams and you haven't studied, it's not going to really matter if you like start to quick look through your book and stuff like that. So that's not a big deal to me. Here's the deal. Have you heard, raise your hand if you've heard the plagiarism, the cheating speech from people yet so far? Okay. I don't give that speech. Why? Because a couple of reasons. One, if I start talking about cheating right away, then you think that I think you're going to cheat, but I don't. I write assignments so that there's really no possibility of that anyway, and I just trust you. Like, so that brings me around to number two. If you cheat while you're in college and don't do your own work, likely you are rendering yourself useless in the job market anyway, and you don't want to do that, right? All right, let me open the door. I got a dog that needs in. Sorry. Thanks, everybody. Get in here. That's Alma. She's my little pit bull. We call her our snuggle muscle because really the only thing she wants to do all day is just nap anyway. You might see her cruise up on the couch. Anyway, I'm not worried about plagiarism. Do your own work. I trust you, and I think we'll be fine with that, okay? All right, so Top Hat. This is where a lot of the questions that you have about the class might come from, okay? It is not the iClicker. We do not use an iClicker. The reason I got away from the iClicker like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago is because it's like ABCD, ABCD, ABCD boring, right? So by using Top Hat, I can ask a question like this. In one word, describe the gender male, right? And it gets dicey. When I talk about or ask some of these questions, we get really, really great data, and it's fun and it's interesting. And it's just not as boring as ABCD, like I said. So here's the deal. It does cost $30 for a subscription for 4 months. If you decide to get it, here's what you get. If you click in 90% of the time and above, and you'll be able to do it, I'll leave it open for 4 or 5 hours on the days when you answer questions. Pretty easy, mostly opinion things, I think. If you click in 90% of the time and above, you get 5% added to your grade at the end. That's right. 80% and above, 4% added to your grade. How many people at the end of a semester, now I know it's not you, but I get a lot of emails at the end of the semester, can I get a grade bump, Mr. Powers? Right? I do not know what a grade bump is. I don't know what a boost is. You do your work, and that's what you earn. And people earn Fs. Go figure. But here's the deal. If you're at an 87 and you click in 80% of the time and you get 4% added to your grade, now you're in A-ville, right? So that's what I want. I'm building in some mechanisms because I don't feel that you should ever mess up on one test or not do good on a paper and then suddenly you can't manifest an A for the semester. Like that just doesn't seem equitable to me. So I build in a few things throughout the semester that makes it possible, even if you didn't really nail the first exam, let's say you got a 70 on it, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to get, those are percentage points, not even just like individual points. Okay. So if you buy it, it's $30. Do not get the free trial version because that's going to run out in a month. And then that's not your data anymore. And it's going to be a huge pain for you. And then you're going to have to purchase it anyway. Okay. So make sure that if you purchase it, you just go for it and you get it. Now, if there are a few people, and mind you, look, everything costs money. When students go out, let's say partying for a night, you could spend $30 at the bar in 10, 15 minutes. So I'm just going to say, if it's important to you, get it. If you don't have that money, you absolutely don't have that money, the people that work at Top Hat, because I have a lot of students, they work with me. I can get a very small number of like scholarships, okay? Or free subscriptions. But I have like 3 big classes and I can only get a handful. But I don't want that to be a barrier for you to be able to participate in that way. Otherwise, it's optional, meaning if you don't get Top Hat, okay, you don't lose any points whatsoever. It's just you just would gain points throughout the semester. All right. There is also an extra credit food drive. Now, last semester, my classes donated over $6,000, and that is 12,000 meals that they can provide for the food bank. I see your faces. I love it. Here's the deal. Last semester, the fall, when we were here and everybody was there still, or in person, we collected over, what was it, 8,000 pounds of food. People would bring it to class in the last couple of days, and I'd take it there. We are the largest, not me, you, my classes, were the largest non-corporate donor for the Larimer County Food Bank, my classes. And I dig that because we're doing sociology. This is about the environment. How much even if we were in like $1 million classroom where I could play the speakers really loud, because I love to play music before class, so it's not like that boring, awful silence. Even if we did all that, it still wouldn't be enough. We've got to get outside. We've got to do sociology. And right now, one of the important things is, as usual, but it's even more important right now, people are food insecure. And they do not know where their next meal is coming from, even in a town that is affluent like Fort Collins, okay? So there's the food drive. I put the link up. Raise your hand if you've seen the link. Has anybody seen it? It's in discussions. I might have an announcement about it, but check discussions. It's extra credit. And it goes all the way to December 1st. And I think the minimum requirement for it to get the 25 points is like $5. But you can invite your friends and family. And I'm not a huge fan of violent metaphors. People, I killed that test or whatever. But I would like us to crush this semester in as far as really donating as much as we can. So you can share the links with your friends and family members. They can make donations on your behalf, whatever. You'll see that we are in competition with my other CSU classes so that we can see who's donating the most and what that looks like. Now, if we were in high school, I might reward you with a pizza party, but whatever. Right now, your reward is going to be extra credit points, and you know you did something to make this a better world, okay? 25 points of extra credit is a decent amount of extra credit because if you get an 80 and you wanted an A, you add 10 points to that exam, and now you've got your A, okay? So you can add those points up, but think of it in those terms as far as, again, another mechanism to help you along. Some people are going to come in here and take that first test and get a 60, and you're a great student, but you just didn't see it coming. Boom, you add those points to it, right? You get the clicker points, the Top Hat points. Now, Top Hat, it's in the syllabus. It's online like tophat.com. It is not through the bookstore. It's totally separate, okay? So, yeah, the access key for Top Hat, our join code, I put an announcement about that. So when you're looking for absolutely anything in this class, go to announcements, okay? Because that's where I'll put things first. There's going to be stuff in modules. Eventually, there's going to be lectures, and there's PowerPoints that are already there, things like that. But check under announcements, check the syllabus. That's where you're going to find a lot of the stuff right out of the gate. Okay. Here's one of the deals. With this class, it's an environmental sociology class, but sociology isn't just guessing what people do. People watching is kind of fun, and that's a version of sociology, right? How many people here like to people watch or find people ridiculously interesting? Yeah, right? I mean, we might not get out as much to people watch anymore, but still infinitely interesting. But with sociology, this is a social science. So we're using science, right, and environmental science to talk about like where our human world and where our natural worlds intersect, okay? That being said, this is a science-based class, and when we talk about the environment and climate change, it's not a belief. So I'm gonna say this. Use this Zoom class period to decide if this is a good fit for you. If you don't get good vibes from me, if you don't think it's going to be a good semester, if you don't want to take this class, drop it. Somebody else will take your place. No harm, no foul. But I say that because you know of a lot of folks that put the environment and climate change into the same arena as belief. But it is not a belief. We are in 97 to 99% agreement. Human beings are mostly responsible for what we're looking at in as far as climate change, and that's where we're starting, okay? We can talk about opinions, we can talk about politics, and we will. in relationship to our environment. And it's really easy, like politics, not like who we like as a politician, but if you want to know if somebody supports the environment or not, it's not a hard thing to do. You just go look at their voting record, right? Not every Democrat is a tree-hugging hippie liberal. Not every Republican hates the environment, but a long time ago, when I was born in that magical time called the 70s, they used to work together. It was really like Nixon's environment, right, or Nixon's administration that came up with the EPA and the Environmental Protection Act and things like that. So 30 years later, we shouldn't be in a scenario where Republicans are immediately, or we think that they're immediately dismissive of the environment, or that all Democrats care. There's a lot of those that cross lines and do not at all follow those guidelines. So this class, we're going to use social science and environmental science. It is not a belief. I do not want people who are really passionate about the belief that climate change does not exist to stick around in this class. It is going to be frustrating to you, right? Every single time we meet, every lecture. So I'm only saying that because I want you to be prepared for how we approach this class, and it's with a scientific sort of point of view, okay? Of course, but we're looking at humans who are infinitely interesting and how we think you're going to do one thing, but of course, then you do exactly the opposite. And do we have concerns about the environment right now? Do you have concerns? Yes. Can we look at this current administration, even in the past month, as we talk about drilling in the Arctic and so many other protections in the environment that have been overturned? Yeah. And that's not a political statement. That has to do with the efforts to dismantle the EPA environmental protection laws and what's really been going on. Again, that is not entirely a Republican situation, but we can look at it within the framework of the current administration, how people are voting and what they are doing. Let's be real about it this semester without being disrespectful about it. All right. Let me move on. Here's a big deal right here. That is racism. Okay. Now, most of my training is in race relations. My undergraduate degree, my master's degree, sociology, ethnic studies. I've worked for over 25 years with and in race relations looking at that. Now, I say that because CSU has a problem, right? Like most of this country, because we are not in a post-racial society, race matters. And in fact, we have decided a long time ago for who it matters and how much it matters and why, and what advantages and disadvantages we give to people based on that. I will say this. If you Google race or racism in CSU, you will come up with plenty, okay? We're not just talking about last semester when students painted themselves in blackface for what reason, I can't even imagine. But those things, it is critical that my students do not participate in that. Every class lecture that I get done with, I say, be good people and do good things, and I mean it, okay? You are out there repping me, and you are repping yourself, and you are repping the college. And I do things, and we do things here in a way that is equitable and compassionate and inclusive. This classroom, even though it's from a distance, is for everyone. I want everyone to feel safe, okay? Now, in the past, students have hung up like toilet paper nooses. They have said awful things. They've, called the police on some students of color a year ago. Anyway, the point is that we haven't been the best as a community. And what's been even worse, in my opinion, is the administration's follow-up to it. It's just another email that says, we are totally anti-racist. And then something else happens. And then they send another email. We assure you, we are totally anti-racist. Look, you've got to put your behavior where your mouth lies, okay? And the current administration in this college is trying to do that currently, I think with a great deal of sincerity. But I just want you to know that I never really get salty, and I'm a laid back guy. But if there's anything that I will get bent out of shape about, and it will be the end of anyone's, career in my class, it is that piece right there, okay? Not being compassionate, not being inclusive, and being, overtly racist to other people in a discussion in this class or with your comments or anything like that. I do not have to worry about it because I know that those people that have done this in the past aren't my students. How do I know? Because I find out. Because I want to know, because I want my students to be representing the best of CSU, okay? And if you're out there, if you're out there being discriminatory, being racist, then that is not the best person you can be. In fact, it's quite several levels subhuman, if you ask me. All right, so keep yourselves safe, keep your classmates and the people on this college, and keep in a positive place. we've got the exams. Now there's a paper, there's a food waste paper. I'm gonna have a whole lecture that I record, and we'll do a whole Zoom meeting talking about that paper, but it's 150 points, which means that it's worth an exam and a half. And you have months to do it. So we're gonna work with you. The GTAs that we have, the people in this department that are helping me, we're like a team. And that team is, that's right, the Chicago Bulls of the 1990s with Jordan and Scottie Pippen, my man. So my team is here, and we are champions, and we will be awesome for you. We are here to help you develop your writing, assist you with like internships, connecting you with people on campus. So don't think because they're graduate assistants that they're not as cool as a teacher or you shouldn't reach out to them. They are some smart individuals who I love working with, okay? And in a little bit, preach. In a little bit, I will ask you, or I will ask them to say a little something just so that they can introduce themselves to you, okay? But they're fantastic people, and they're gonna be working with you individually all semester long. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna split the class in half, and one of them will grade half the papers, the other will grade the other, and then they will be working with you on developing your writing. The advantage of working with one person all semester is that they know your writing. You know what I'm saying? And you get to work with somebody who you kind of can forge a relationship with. And especially when we're at a distance, I think that's incredibly important. Now, I just showed you my Bulls hat. What else do I have on my desk? Oh, that's right. Jabba the Hutt. Got a little Mandalorian bobblehead. Here's another Mandalorian toy. What? This guy's 47 and he collects toys? You bet. My mom never made me throw away any of my Star Wars or G.I. Joe stuff. Love Star Wars. My boys and I have been hitting up the Comic-Con or going to the Comic-Con for several years, and we love it. So that's just a little something about me. If it has to do with Star Wars, I not only know about it, but I need to know about it. So if you need to let me know about something that I might have missed, just let me know. Oh, somebody says I have a Kylo Ren and Princess Leia bobblehead on my desk right now. That's a class act. I just want you to know. Qui-Gon, all right, we're still going to give him some credit. Jar Jar, he's a Sith Lord. All right, moving right along to the next topic. Sorry, I digress. It's easy for me to digress when I'm at home. You probably understand. Okay, I'm not sure what I haven't covered yet. So go ahead and are my GTAs in here? Because I can only see one page of 5 pages. If you are, would you introduce yourself really quick? All right. They've got other things going on right now, I'm sure. If they pop in, we'll let you know. All right, so now we're to the point where I want you to ask questions, okay? In the past, we have done a field trip out to my farm. I have a 4-acre farm in LaPorte. We have a garden with 17 75-foot rows. I have over 100 tomato plants. We grow peppers, we grow melons, you name it. And it's all organic gardening. We have 120 chickens. And my son, who is kind of like a Zen chicken master, forgot for the first time in 3 years to shut the barn door the other night. And the next morning we woke up and we had 45 of our babies from this summer that had been killed by a coyote. I mean, I walked out my back door and it was like battlefield. It was bad news. So anyway, I had to repurchase some chickens, and we'll be redoing that. Another 60 chickens here whenever they get here in the next couple of weeks. But I would bring people out. We have a pond, we have a river running through our place, and we would do like an examination of biodiversity. Like, just what's the biodiversity around this pond? Like, how many birds, how many fish, how many insects, what relies on what? I mean, you know, we plant thousands of sunflowers in our garden, or hundreds anyway, to bring pollinators to the garden, which brings birds to the garden, which eats the grasshoppers that try and eat my tomato plants. So anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that one off. It's outside, and if we were masked, maybe. But I know we're all learning from different locations right now, so I'm not exactly sure about that one. We do have asparagus, do not have any cows. Nope, and we used to have goats, but goats are the animals of tragedy. The only thing a goat is good for is looking cute. People that say that they do goat yoga, look, let me tell you about goat yoga. You're just going to get peed and pooped on. I'm just being real with you here. Goats will eat anything you don't want them to. You go, oh, they're going to mow my yard. No, they're going to eat your 100-year-old tree. So anyway, we had 3 goats, and each one of them met an untimely end, a lot like the chickens. So Don't have any cows, no goats. Anyway, what questions do you have? You don't have to raise your hand. You can just unmute it. You can type it here. But tests, there's no makeup for a test. I'm going to have it open for like 24 hours. So you don't just have an hour to come take the test. Anytime during that day, you'll be able to come in and log on. And then maybe I think you have an hour to take the test, something like that. But what kind of questions do you have? You have 14 goats? I think the first assignment might be a social observation. I have to go in there and check. There's a few things that I still need to change because of the amount of work that I've been doing. So if you click on the left link that says syllabus, all the things
you have cows or chickens?
All the things that are listed with the dates.
Okay.
Could you, somebody's got their mic on. Would you mute your mic?
I'll take either.
80, would you mute that mic for me? You're good. You're good. Way to draw attention to yourself on day one. I'm just kidding. All right. So I can't even, sorry, I lost my concentration. September 1st, is that the observation, the social observation? Because I don't have my screen pulled up here. It might be, there's also content assignments. Anyway, we'll get to that the next time we meet. What do you think? Do we watch the lecture in PowerPoint during class or on our own? Here's the deal. For my other classes all summer long, I was recording videos, so many videos that I would be done the entire semester in advance. And I don't really like to do that because I like topical, like what's going on right now with the environment that we can talk about that makes this class like, you know, relevant. But I would record so many videos. I'd record a 20-minute video. I'd go in the other room. I'd change my shirt and I'd come back with a new shirt on just to like mix it up for my students. So I will be recording them from at home. All the videos are going to be linked on the Canvas, but it's to my YouTube channel, okay? And it's called Sociology Jason. I'll put a link there if there's not already, but I think I did post an intro video so that you could all see me standing there in front of the garden. It's in announcements if you haven't watched it. The reason I do YouTube as a platform is because it has closed captioning for people that need it. It's a place that if you subscribe and you get a notification about it, then you might find out right away when I release the video. But we're mostly going to be non-synchronous, meaning I'm not expecting to lecture during that time. Usually I'm going to release the videos, and then when we get together for our class meetings, and I think I would like to meet mostly twice a week, but I will announce it with 24 hours in advance, okay? It's non-synchronous, so I don't necessarily expect you to be here because I know that there's a lot of scheduling conflicts. But then again, look, out of 150 people, we've got 110. People will be here most of the time. I am recording this, if you can see that. So when I'm done, I'll capture it, I'll upload it. And then if you know anybody that missed it, or if you just missed it that day, you'll know that you can always go to the YouTube channel and that you can watch that video. Okay. Do we only do Top Hat stuff during class? Is outside of class? I'll probably open up the Top Hat questions for like 5 to 7 hours on the day we have class. Again, I don't want people to miss it because they couldn't make it exactly during class. So maybe I open it up at 10 a.m. and it goes through the evening. You click on, you'll be able to answer those questions in like a couple minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to take a whole lot of time. But again, I don't want to strictly make it during this class time. I do think meeting during these times is important. I also want to keep ourselves to be flexible for the semester. Top Hat, okay, still a little confused. It's an outside app that lets you respond to things, okay? And then we look at that data. So I'm going to say, you know, is racism a thing? You know, yes or no. Or just like I said, describe a problem with our natural, list a problem with or a concern with our natural environment. And we're going to get tons and tons and tons of them. How much time do you spend, you know, on your cell phone or in media? We could be anything, but it's just a response system so that I get all sorts of like feedback. All right. How many lectures should we watch a week to stay on schedule? The exam is, I think, over 3 chapters each time, and it's about a month into it, okay? So the first exam is sometime in September in about 4 weeks, and we'll cover 3 chapters. So basically, my advice to you is watch about a chapter worth of lectures a week or read about a chapter a week in the book. Some people like to read first, then watch the lecture. Some people want to go in and download the PowerPoint, which I have for you, so that they can make notes. There's visual learners in here, so I have a lot of pictures that are embedded in the PowerPoints. And the PowerPoints are one thing, but you'll like the lectures because, you know, it's my face talking over top of the PowerPoint that you can see. It's not super static. I think it is important that we get eye contact and that we have as much human contact as possible. This is a sociology class, right? I mean, half the reason that I'm talking about these things, like racism, why would I talk about that? Well, I'm not only passionate that we behave well with each other and treat each other well, but environmental racism is a thing, right? How close you live to certain environmental things, whether that's industrial areas, that predicts not only the quality of life, but in some cases, how long you will live. So I talk about it because maybe in calculus, they don't talk about that stuff because calculus sucks and math isn't my thing. Just kidding, sorry. I hope my son is I think he's out of here running cross country because he's like a math genius. But look, other classes it might not apply, but it's sociology. We are going to talk about the things that when you go home for break, or if you're already home, your parents around the holidays, now when the relatives come over, don't start a fight by talking about how passionate you are about the environment, whatever that might be, right? That's what sociology talks about every single class period, right? So we're always talking about something that's relevant, that's interesting, and that I think is really important and applies to us. Somebody put up the name of the textbook. They have the textbook. If they don't, like I said, if they sold out of it, they're going to get it. I plan on meeting every Tuesday and Thursday unless I tell you otherwise, okay? But I still am going to announce the meetings with the Zoom code and things like that. I just got in trouble with my family today because I called out my uncle for being racist. Well done. Yeah, and my approach to doing that when I was 20 is a lot different than when I'm 40. So you will, you know, all like how passionate we are about the environment. Honestly, some of us are so passionate about the environment that we probably don't get that across very well to others. We might have come across a little heavy-handed. So we're also going to talk about the ways in which and what we can do this semester to help create solutions for the problems that we face. If we just talked about problems all the time, which people do, then all of a sudden they get frozen and they don't want to do anything. And look, there's too many things to worry about. So no, not in this class. In this class, we are going to be solution-based, and most of the papers that you are writing are called solution papers. And I'm talking about, we always come up with some really awesome stuff, creative ideas, and that's how I want us to be thinking this semester. Do we know that there's a lot of problems with the environment? I mean, you're in Colorado. Just open a window, smell the smoke, and let's say yes, okay? We know what's up. That's not to say that fires don't serve an important purpose for the rebirth of the forest, yada, yada, yada. We know that. Okay. When we meet on Tuesday and Thursdays, we will be meeting at this class time at 3:30. Okay, same bat time, same bat channel. All right, so now questions. Who has a question? Unmute your mic, ask me a question. Anything about me, my approach to this class, stuff about the environment, anything you want to know. Let's do this.
I have a question. What is your favorite Star Wars trilogy?
Well, my favorite Star Wars trilogy is the original Star Wars trilogy. And my favorite movie is Empire Strikes Back. I mean, is this in question really with anybody in the known galaxy? No, it's not. No, I'm just kidding. People might like a different movie. But I'm old school like that. That doesn't mean, though, that I don't love The Mandalorian. But when you get Dave Filoni on board, he's like the master of Star Wars, then you're always going to have a success. I can't wait for season 2 of that. All right. Doesn't have to be class related. You can find out a little bit about me. I do not mind. What other questions do you have? The YouTube channel is called Sociology Jason, I think, or Downing Sociology. But in your announcements, there's a link to an intro video, which should take you there. And I'm even getting savvy. My 12-year-old, my 15-year-old, like, Dad, you should put the videos in playlists. Storm, what's a playlist? He taught me. I'm good to go. That's where I'll be putting it. We'll have a Soch 220 playlist with the videos and stuff like that. If you go to that channel now, you can find a bunch of Soch 100 videos and things like that. Other questions?
When we are meeting, like during this time, twice a week, will we be going over the PowerPoints or will we be doing like a discussion?
You know, I think that I'm going to make it a couple things. First, old business, right? Like, here's the stuff that I want you to stay on top of. Next, any questions about the chapter we're currently on? You know, is there anything that you want clarified that you'd like me to talk about? The third thing would be, you can go ahead and respond to the top hat questions, and then I'll look at that, and then I'll talk about that when we meet. So like, hey, one of the first questions is, do you feel like fixing the environment is A, definitely possible, B, maybe, or C, not in my lifetime? So we're gonna look at that. I'll present the data to you and say, hey, out of 150 people, 100 people said definitely, let's do it. Or 100 people said nope. So, you know, whatever that is, we'll take that time to talk about that too. But we won't have to take as much time with me lecturing since I will be releasing those. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to explain things in real time too, though. Does that make sense? Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Being a sociology professor, what do you think is the most pressing and time-sensitive issue for you to focus on? For us to focus on in relationship to the environment? Aaron Owen? Yes. Boy, that's a good question. It's a really good question. Water. Water is our one finite resource. It is our one irreplaceable, only unique resource. Less than 1% water of the Earth's water is drinkable, and a lot of that is poison. So we're going to do a whole chapter on water, but out of overpopulation and greenhouse gases and you name it, maybe water, because human beings, they're not going to live real long without water. And not reverse osmosis, but desalinization, expensive, dirty, and it just can't serve our needs right now. Somebody's got to come up with something better. So anyway, that's a good question. How much rainwater do you collect? Much as we can out here, as much as we can. And that used to be illegal in Colorado, but I was still collecting rainwater. Backyard chickens were illegal in Colorado. I had chickens. As you'll learn in sociology, the line between legal and illegal and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do for certain things not only has to do with the law, but what you believe in. I believe that collecting rainwater and making use of it makes a good deal of sense for me personally. Backyard chickens, we went from 10 to 20 to, we have 120 now, but really we didn't go big until we got out here on the farm. Should we have read the chapter and watched the lecture before the first class of the week? I am going to let you do you. You do you, right? Meaning, like I said before, if you want to watch the PowerPoint, if you want to download the slides and read the chapter and make some notes so that when you watch my lecture, you're like, that's what he was talking about. I'm fine with any of that. You know, it's really up to you. Do we discuss factory farming in this class? You bet. We're, half an hour from Greeley, which is one of the only a handful of slaughterhouses of that size in the United States. There used to be a ton of slaughterhouses, which is one of the reasons with COVID that we're getting so backed up, because there used to be so many more. And the same air that we breathe in Fort Collins is the same air that Greeley shares, the same underground aquifers that hold that water, that all that millions of tons of liquid waste goes into. We drink that water. So yeah, we'll talk about factory farming. A lot of interesting stuff with factory farming. All right, other questions. Go ahead and unmute your microphone. I'll look at this in a second. Anybody have a live question unmuted?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Do you think that that climate change or global warming is solvable given our nation's current stance on it and like the world's current stance on it for like the top developed countries?
Well, let me just solve this for us right now. Since it's day one. Yes, absolutely I do. Because I think that our solutions as human beings are ridiculously creative. Mm-hmm. And the other big piece that I'll talk about this semester is anytime you invest before something happens, you save a ton of money. If you're going to wait till the levees break, it's going to cost you 10 million more, 5 billion more, whatever that is. So if you invest like the Green Deal, you need to do that right now, and not because of politics, but because when you invest beforehand, you are prepared beforehand, and all economic models that we will run, and I will show you data, prove that by being proactive about it, you always save money. So you're not really a fiscal conservative if you don't invest in the environment, because by not investing, it's always going to cost us more. Always, once we're behind. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I do think we can get this done. That being said, this current administration, they're on a temp job. Every president, you're a temp worker. You get 4 years, maybe, and then you get 4 more, and then you're done, right? So this administration, although it has had tremendous impacts, there are things from the last administration, the Obama administration, the DARK Act for food, and I'm a very, very big deal with food, very disappointing to me. So when it comes to the environment, I do not think it is inherently political. We got one Earth, right? That's it. So that's what I like about this class this semester is economic models. We're going to look at that. Voting models, yeah, but let's not lose too much faith all at once, because these folks and these policies, they're gone in a handful of months or in a handful of years, right? And then we get on to the next group of people. The biggest change comes from people in their communities doing collective behavior and collective action to change things. It's not always going to change at the federal level. Things right here on your campus, like the food contract, who they buy their food from, when that comes up to get renewed, be involved as a student. You can have a say in that, and that directly impacts our environment. So we'll talk about all that this semester. How did you react to all the information coming out of the BLM movement this summer? Well, it's really hard to summarize that, but I will say this: Black Lives Matter. And when we know that certain people have been systemically oppressed, whether that's women, whether that's people in the LGBTQ community, we know when it's time to step up and say, women's lives matter. We know when it's time to step up and say, Black Lives Matters. And so, yeah, of course. And right now, statistically, because I'm a social scientist, look, Black males are getting shot at a rate 21 times greater than that of white males. If it was even 2 to 1 in the reverse, would we have done something about it by now? I do think so. I really do. But 21 times that, that's in the territory of, we know it happens on purpose, we make laws for that in 300 years of habit, energy, and trajectory. But we'll break down environmental racism and talk about things that we always talk about in this class, which is power, access, privilege. And when we say people live on the other side of the tracks in regards to environmental justice and the goods and bads, it is literally, in many cases, the other side of the tracks, okay? Now, I have not posted lecture 1 yet. I'll be posting lecture 1 tomorrow, okay? So don't worry that that's not there yet. You'll have it, and you'll be able to watch it, and it'll be awesome. I even have my 12-year-old editing some of the videos because he's a master at it. You name it, Star Wars call, music, anyway. He's gonna make movies some days. So sometimes I have him throwing some extra stuff on the videos just for fun. All right. So I will post that, but it's not posted yet. So look around, read the first chapter, check in modules for the first PowerPoint. Other questions before we're done? What do you got?
I've got one.
Yep.
So do you think like
are you
kind
filming
of as
this from inside the Matrix?
we have like these cool lights up. Yeah.
it looks like the green stuff that's coming down in the Matrix. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So like kind of as like a follow-up question to the one somebody asked earlier about the Black Lives Matter movement, since there's so much like social revolution going on in the United States right now, do you think the environmental issues that are of equal importance are kind of being put on the back burner just because like all the focus is on like the social change?
Sure. Couple things. One, we are always in a state in this country of great social change and flux. Society and culture is never stagnant. It is always changing. So, I mean, a couple years ago, we've got Me Too movement coming to the forefront. A few years before that, you've got this, you've got that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always something big. That being said, it's not the BLM movement that's driving the environment to the back burner. It's the policies of the current administration, which are
absolutely
to erase a lot of that progress. Now, again, that's not a political statement. You can look at how many things, and we weren't good at it before. We've only participated in a couple treaties. We weren't part of the Kyoto Protocol, you name it. So we're already bad at committing to the environment, Democrats and Republicans. Mm-hmm. That being said, there's an all-out war being waged on the environment currently, and we've got a lot of work to do to set that straight. But you know, because we're always looking at human rights in this country, and because we don't have that nailed down yet in a way that's great and equitable for everyone, I wouldn't say it's one movement or the other. I'd say it's just, you know, it's not like the environment's not expressing itself, right? I mean, the environment is expressing itself very clearly. We need to get on board and act, because to that other person's question, student's question, sorry, and I don't remember your name, there will be a time at which it's not going to be likely or easy for us to survive, okay? And the earth is going to be fine. Don't worry about the earth. The earth will be just fine. It's human beings that aren't going to be so fine, right? We understand that. The earth, it's used to rebirthing, you know? Anyway, all right, what are your thoughts on the lack of interest in COVID prevention we have seen among some students? My students are 100% wearing their masks and behaving correctly. Or so I like to think. I like to think the same thing about my kids. My thoughts are that we didn't act early. We haven't committed. So see, in May, they told me, because we're a college, a scientific institution, that you're not going to be running your classes because you have big classes. It's going to be virtual. So I knew all the way back in May. My wife and I made bets about the school district. I said 4 weeks into it. She said 2. They closed it down before it even happened. The fact that you are here and we're making a go of it, I think is awesome. I think it's awesome. But you need to be safe, right? Somebody asked me, they said, how do you think it'll be when people haven't seen their boyfriends and girlfriends and they're all coming back to campus and they haven't been partying together? And I said, you should check the statistic on sexually transmitted infections on this campus. Those numbers are important, and they will encourage you to be safe about that. We know the number and what the infections look like in regards to COVID, so we need to be safe and smart about that. So, you know what I'm saying? Are we still good? So I see some people's faces have frozen up. Did I freeze up on my end? Are we good? Oh, I see a thumbs up. Okay. Any other questions that you have as a class?
What's your tattoo? I saw your tattoo. What is it?
You mean the one back here?
No, the one on your arm right there.
Just kidding. The one on my arm, I don't know. Let's see if I can turn my arm that way. It's like a skull with a top hat and, I don't know, like a gentleman's pirate flag. I don't know. I drew it one night with pen and ink, and then our band, they liked it. So they said, let's use it. I've been playing music since I was 14. My dad used to chaperone us in places before I was, you know, legal enough to be there. We still play music. I've been in the same band in Fort Collins for 15 years. We run through a national booking agency, and that's one of the reasons I like teaching, because it's a bit flexible. And of course, we haven't been playing a bunch of shows or touring like we usually do. You know, everybody's having to adjust. We have a 4-acre farm, so we've done a couple safely distanced shows in the last few weeks, where we have 40 people on 2 acres and everybody's 50 feet apart, wears their masks, you know, when they come in and stuff, and we can still do some music. But yeah, so I play music professionally and still do. Both my sons play instruments. I didn't force them to, but we think music's important too. So yeah. Lower back, what do you play? Oh yeah, guitar, bass. I sing, I'm the lead singer. Imagine that. I play guitar, slide guitar, and harmonica too. So, and it's rock and roll music. All right, questions about sing for us. Somebody said that in the other class. Probably not right now, but maybe sometime this semester. Yeah, maybe I'll sing the theme. I'll sing some TV show themes or something like that, like from when I was a kid, like the theme to the Jeffersons or something like that. Who knows? All right, other questions about the class? Anything I can clarify before we go our separate ways until Thursday or whatever? Look, I'm really, really excited about this semester. The book is not on Top Hat. Top Hat is for a response system. The book is in the bookstore or online. They're totally separate. Saw you at Tour de Fat last year, I think. That was me. Yeah, that was me. There was a lot of people, and that was fun, huh? So you don't have to say whether you liked it or not, but that was me. I look a little bit different when I play music. Yeah, anything else? That was us. I wish we were doing that again this year. Love Tour de Fat. I think they're doing a virtual thing. So it was rad. It's good to know that people still say rad. I haven't totally Outdated myself. Oh, I was gonna refer to my pit bull the way my sons do. I say she's a snuggle muscle. My boys say she's thick with a C. I don't even know how many C's you're supposed to put in the word thick. I'm actually pretty hilarious because I just got a cell phone like 4 or 5 years ago. I know you're going to be like, what? And I actually thought that SMH until 2 years ago was this noise. Like I didn't know it meant shake my head. But I'll tell you what, this, shake your head, and they're pretty much the same anyway. So yeah, I'm a technological genius. I'm a powerhouse of technology. Oh yeah, as many C's as you want, the more the better. Oh shoot, I'm glad I have teenagers that I can embarrass and ask these questions of. Somebody the other day said, "Are you a boomer?" And I was like, "What?" And then somebody else said, "Yeah, people our age think everybody over 30 is a boomer." So I'm just going to say this. Do not disrespect me with the boomer business. I'm from Gen X. That's the first gen whatever that they decided to disrespect. We were the people that were skateboarding everywhere, that they were trying to chase out of everywhere unsuccessfully. All right. Live long Gen Z. Long live Gen Z. Nice. Love your energy. Can we suggest top hat discussion questions? You can always send me an email. Reach out to me if you need something, and stay in close contact this semester. All right. Just a couple minutes left. Anything left? Any other questions? You can ask one in person. You could type it. All right. You there? Bueller. Oh, one last, I should tell you about my son Storm. He's 15. He runs cross country. He's a sophomore at Rocky, and he just got the Patrick Swayze haircut. I'm not at all kidding you. He went in, he like just saw Dirty Dancing, and he thinks Patrick Swayze is cool. He's like a totally 80s dude. And so he went in the other day and actually said when he sat down in the chair to get his haircut, "Could you give me the Patrick Swayze?" And the person cutting hair was very impressed because he's only 15. So anyway, I guess that's my last order of business today. My son has a mini mullet, or what you might consider the Patrick Swayze. Anyway, it says my internet connection is unstable, just like me after a long day. So we're going to call this one. I'm going to leave you like I leave class every single time, and that is be good people and do good things. And this is going to be a fantastic semester. I'm really, really, really excited about it. And if anybody drops, please make a good fit for your education. If you drop, tell your friends, because somebody's going to snag up on it right away. This class fills fast because it's not me. It's topics. But I think I do a good job, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So anyway, peace, everybody. Take care. Be good people and good things. You may log off. I'm going to stop this, and then I will save the recording. Peace, everybody.